Hey peeps, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking you through the process of French seaming a sleeve. So I do this quite a lot with lightweight fabrics and with garments that aren't lined because I like the clean finish. I have an addiction to French seams. If you've watched any of my other tutorials, you know this. And I just find it very satisfying to set in a sleeve this way. So if you would like to learn how to do that, let's get started. So I'm going to be French seaming these sleeves. This method will work for a pattern with a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. 3/8 of an inch away from the raw edge, and then the second line is 3/8 of an inch away from the original. Your stitching line will be in between the two. So the first step of French seaming a sleeve is to pin the sleeve into the bodice, wrong sides together, and you want to match up the notches. So we've got the double notch for the back match there, single notch for the front, the underarm seam, and then as I mentioned, I notch the top of my sleeve to match it up with the shoulder seam. Then you're going to continue pinning in until you get to where the gathering starts, and then you want to pull your gathering stitches so that you can gather in the excess into the sleeve cap here. So I'm now going to go around and I'm going to sew this at 1/4 of an inch seam allowance the whole way around. Once you've sewn your sleeve in, wrong sides together, you're then going to want to trim your seam allowance down to 1/8 of an inch, and you'll end up with a bunch of stuff that looks like this. So we're now going to go and press our sleeve so that the right sides are together, so we can pin it again and sew it with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Once you've pressed the right sides together, you should have a nice crease with that tiny little 1/8 of an inch seam sandwiched between those, and then you're going to want to put in your pins again, and we're going to sew at 3/8 of an inch the entire way around, as we would do with a normal French seam. And just want to be taking a lot of care around here to make sure that your gathers are nice and evenly spaced. And you want to sew with the seam part of your stitching under the presser foot and the main bodice by the feed dogs. So once you have sewn that final seam, you want to remove the gathering stitches, the ones that, at least the ones that are going to be visible on the outside. You also want to very lightly press the seam allowance towards the sleeve, but without pressing any of these gathers flat. As ever, if you have any questions at all, please let me know in the comments section down below, and I will do my best to answer them for you. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye!